Hi everyone, good morning. Today I have a what sold video for what items sold on across our three platforms that we sell on from the days of March 15th through March 21st, so the third week of March of 2025. We didn't sell anything on Mercari, which is pretty normal for us, so let's go ahead and get started on Poshmark. We sold this Vermont Country Store floral nightgown. It was a size large. I believe I have like four more of these. A lot of you know who've been watching our videos for a while, we found a warehouse that basically got a large amount of Vermont Country Store items directly from their manufacturing warehouse that are new without tags. Some of them have flaws, some of them are in perfect condition. And so we've been selling them since about this past fall, winter, and they tend to, on average, sell for about $30 to $40 each. So this one sold for 38, and we count our cost of goods as $4, so we profited 26.40 off of this. Next was a Vermont Country Store. I called it like a night, I think I called it a night shirt. It was just the top, and it sold for 25. A pair of Not Your Daughter jeans, Maryland straight leg jeans. I These were for petite, and I actually had them another of these exact same style and size, but this person I guess only wanted the one, and they sold for 27. Next was this. I just listed this. This was a maxi skirt. It had definitely like a Y2K early 2000s vibe to it, and it would even be cute if you weren't wearing it as a maternity skirt. Uh, I wore it as a not maternity skirt, and it was just really cute, and it flared out at the bottom, and it was a size extra large, which is pretty good. It sold for 30. Next was this. It was like a cropped, almost like a satiny kind of material top, and it had these really pretty flared or bell sleeves. It had a very like you could like I would definitely see you could wear it as like to a Renaissance festival, maybe under like a jumper or something. I had just gotten it at Gabe's, which is a store that sells really discounted things. They just get things in bulk from online stores and from retail stores that are closing or getting rid of old items. And sometimes you can get them for, sometimes the prices are like Marshall's, TJ Maxx prices, but a lot of times they'll go down like super cheap. And this was from a couple years ago. My mom and my husband and I all went and got like things that had been really clearance down to like $1 or less. So my cost of goods was pretty low on this, and this sold for 10. Next was a ballet bra. There's this girl that I've found on Facebook in one of my reselling groups, and she has a Poshmark closet as well, and she sells like a lot of bras, and so she'll have like these really big huge bra sales on the Facebook group, and I was picking them up for about, I think, like $3 to $5 each, just depending on the brand. And I bought this one so for about that same price, and it sold for 11. It did sit for a while. Um, I think I had like originally maybe purchased it to try it myself or something. I can't really remember. Or it might have been like $1 or two. I would tend to pick up bras for $1 or two, especially if they're a good brand or a bigger size, because eventually they will sell and they don't take up much room to store. And then there were these Baby Gap outfits that sold in a bundle. I did originally have these priced. Is that how much I see? Yeah, so see, this is how much they were originally priced at. This was a little two two outfit sets, so like for siblings. These were purchased for my sons, from my mom, and I originally had these for $25, and then this was a new two-piece outfit, also by Baby Gap, and I had it for 20. And I sent a really good offer to her for 30, or she might have sent like an offer and then I countered at 30, because these did have some wear. You guys know navy, just like black, can wear a lot like in the wash. And like I always say, anything that's white and color striped shows a lot of wear and a lot of pilling and a lot of color bleed. So I did, and white with kids, I mean, obviously there was some like discoloration, which I was clear to show all that in photos. But I just really wanted to get rid of these, and I figured I would make a decent enough profit. Otherwise, I mean, I probably would have just donated these. So I was fine to get the 30 for everything. Then there was this surprised me. This just like sold for a full asking price. These had been sitting here for like at least a year, maybe even longer. And they just sold overnight one night for the full like $18 asking price. And I was like, thank goodness, because I was about to take these off and either re-photograph them or maybe even take them like to consignment to sell for like $2 because I was tired of sitting on these. I'm so tired of shoes. I don't think I'm ever picking up shoes unless they're like dance goes sell really well for me. And then like a lot of women's shoes that are leather tend to sell pretty good for me. Like dance goes or Allegrias or I think I had some Clarks that I got at Goodwill that were brand new, that were heels, that were leather that sold pretty quickly. So things like that, but that's probably all that I'm doing as far as shoes go from now on. And lastly was this pair of Chico's kind of gold uh pants or jeans. And my mom had actually just asked about these. She's like, "What about those gold kind of gold pants that I got?" Because these were for she had gotten these for $1 at the consignment clearance sale and they sold for 15, which yesterday, Saturday, was actually the consignment sale. They do it every month, and their clearance items, which are items that they've had in store for like over 3 months or like that 3 month mark or something, I think they mark down to $1 and put outside, and then the entire rest of the store is 25% off. And so my husband and I took our kids to a family event, like a family event on like a farm that was really fun yesterday. My mom stayed behind and went to the consignment sale for me to see if she could find anything. And I can't remember if she said, I think she said she found a few things. I feel like she said there wasn't much. 15 things. And she said she was at the sale at 10 when they started. She said along with 10 other people, 15 things again. And she said 75 cents each. That's surprising. And then she said she checked in everything in the store that was 25% off, and I guess she must not have found much. Um, and I've mentioned before, like we really don't make much, so I can pull up here. These are the items that we currently have at the store this month. Will it show me? No. How do I find out? Maybe like okay, so yeah, so I have right now I have 10, 11, 12 items that I have brought in. I keep meaning to bring more in because I really want to make sure I get all of my summer stuff that's for consignment taken there. I don't want to keep consignment items for like a year just hanging at my house until they will take it the next year. I want to get all of it out. I also have this yellow pad of like all the old items that I have inventory on that I've like gone through on Flip of things that have been in my closets for like over a year. And then I'm like, it's not worth trying to sell anymore. I'm going to take the consignment. At some point this month, I need to pull those. I've just been so busy. But I need to pull those and take them. I also don't like taking like a ton of stuff at a time. So I have this like cute little paint container about this big that I got at Goodwill. And I think I'm going to start like I took it a couple weeks ago and brought these items in, and I think I'm just going to start kind of filling that in up because it will hold probably about maybe 20 clothing items depending on the items, 15 to 20, and like a pair of shoes or a household item. And I feel like that's a good amount for them to look through because when you take like I've taken a huge tote before, for one it takes them a long time to go through it, so I'm kind of sitting there in the store just waiting. But also, I feel like it can be a little overwhelming. Like, I know when I used to work at Plato's Closet and people would bring in these huge totes of clothes, you kind of, I feel like, just end up going through it real fast and you're just like, okay, because there's so much to have to go through. So, and then also you're just like, oh, well, this is a cute item, but I don't know. There's so much here. I might just pass on that and see if there's any other good things, if that makes sense. So I kind of just give them like a smaller amount of items to select from. I was really surprised that they only took like half of the things that I brought in. last time when I think it was like a week ago, I brought some clothes in. That kind of surprised me, but I'm not even worried about it. I didn't, sometimes I was kind of like contemplating, like maybe I'll just bring some of these items in dispersed in other batches, like throughout the next couple months. And then I thought, you know what? Like, forget it. I'm just donating it. I don't want to sit on these items any longer. So anyway, so they took these 12 items. Two have sold already. One sold yesterday, I'm guessing at the sale. I never get much for the items there. Like these Zellos items. I know I showed the one here in my last what I'm going to list video. This and all of the Zellos items. Oh, I disappeared. All the Zellos items are brand new with tags, and my mom got them from Belk when I was like in high school, maybe or college. And like you see, this was $46 retail. My mom paid 15.99. It might have even had like an additional sale on it. I don't know. But I mean, they're not decent items. And so like these were, I think, t-shirts, but I still felt like maybe they might put like I don't know, like $8 on them, something. I don't know. There were new tags. This one sold, and like I think you can see. Well, I won't go through the activity, but I got like a. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I got $1.63 for it. They really don't give you much at all. Like you can see here the amount that I get for items. This is me purchasing. The amount you get for items is like $1 to $2, sometimes like 84 cents, 50 cents. Like it's kind of I don't even think I saw it 50 cents, so it was crazy. It's not much at all. It's definitely not a moneymaker place for us, but like you can see here where I've like spent money because I will turn the little bit of money that I get from it and I will buy more inventory than I know that I can sell. Like I've gotten Judy blue jeans there before. I've gotten Torrid items there before, or I got this there the other day, that Michael Simon sweater. So it's really just a place that we can unload some inventory that hasn't sold for us and hopefully make like a few bucks. All right. So anyway, so that was all of Poshmark. So total on Poshmark for March, we profited $121.50, which is the most that we've made, excuse me, in 1 week on Poshmark since January, since the last week of January. And that was even 128. So I was really excited for that. I definitely attribute that to the Vermont Country Store because those are such high dollar sales. And then next we're going to go to eBay. This Monster Hunter anime shirt sold. This was one of the anime shirts that I got from our Goodwill men's bin when an online company got rid of all of their brand new without tags anime t-shirts. I'm not mad about them selling for low prices. I've been sitting on them since I feel like maybe this past summer, but which is not that long, but they are new without tags, and a lot of times people want tags. You know, maybe they're giving them as gifts, and when something doesn't have a tag on it, it just doesn't quite, you know what I mean? It's not quite, it doesn't feel quite as new as an item that still has tags. Uh, and these aren't like any rare things, and they aren't technically like branded by anything more than like Gildan or Hanes or things like that. So I'm fine just to get like, a few dollars. I still profited after my $4 cost of goods. These technically cost like two, but after $4 cost of goods, I profited almost $4. So, it's fine. Next was a pair of men's Lucky Brand jeans. They sold for 25. I also have two of these, so there is still one in the same exact style and size listed. And lastly was this Versace Barbie. So I mentioned it probably like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, maybe last summer, I can't remember. Um, that we had gone through all of my childhood Barbies. Some of you might remember that I do live in my childhood home. My husband and I moved here back in 2018, and basically everything was exactly as it was when I lived here as a kid. Uh, I mean, I lived here from like 5 until 18 when I moved out for college. So everything was exactly the same as how it had been left. and when I went away to college. And so I went through all of my childhood things, and I am in the process of selling some of them. I still have a lot of dollhouse stuff that I know will sell really well. I've seen people do lots of them. But anyway, so the first thing that we started selling was the Barbies. And some of them have done pretty well. Some of them I'm still sitting on. They're not worth quite as much. This one, when we looked it up like last summer, she had like a really high sell-through rate, and it was like over $100, like maybe 125, 30, 50, something like that. I have sat on her for a bit. She didn't have the front like plastic of her box, but that was it. Otherwise, she was new in box. And I think that this was one of the things that like my mom had found at like Marshalls or something. Sometimes Marshalls and TJ Maxx will get things like this in. And this was actually called, this was part of the gold collection from Barbie, which means there was only like a certain amount. Let me see how many. A certain amount of her made. 25,000 of these. So they're only 25,000. So like pretty rare, I guess you could say. Uh and so anyway, I had her listed for like 115 maybe 125, and someone sent an offer for $95, and I immediately accepted it because I've been sitting on her for a while. And then as soon as they accepted it, I took her off of other platforms because I was like, I'm not risking this high of a sale, like double selling or something weird like that. I don't want to have any weird cancellations or anything. So I just took her off real fast of other platforms, got her ready to go. And then as soon as that payment went through on eBay, they put in a cancellation request. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I declined it. And eBay said that you can decline it. You have that right. And I declined it because I thought that's not, I don't know why you want to cancel, but I was like, for one, don't put an offer in on something you're not 100% serious about. For two, for because you need to be serious. It's a business transaction. You're getting the hopes up of the seller, who's a small business owner, who this is a Barbie. This could have been a kid's, and then like they're selling their collection of, their Barbies, and then all of a sudden the kid thinks that they're gonna get this $95, and then all of a sudden, no, just kidding, I'm canceling. Also it's just the inconvenience of it's just a lot of things. So I was like, no, I'm not. I had already pulled it from flipping everything. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Well, then and it was like my husband was literally about to go package it up. Like he was ready to go package up items and do the shipping that night. And I already had it down. Like I was like, no, we're not doing this. And then also keep in mind when you take something off of Poshmark and you delete that listing, then anybody who had liked that item now that item's like it's completely gone. The item's off of there. It doesn't even show sold. It's just deleted. So if I go to repost this, they're not going to see that. They're not going to still get the offers and whatever. So I was like, no, I'm not starting over. Well, so then the buyer contacted me and they messaged me and they said, hi, would you be able to cancel this? I actually found this for cheaper, LOL. And I found it for like only $85 or something like that. Or did he say 55? I think it said 55. Get real. No. I went and looked it up, and I looked up this exact Barbie doll. It was not anywhere on eBay. Now, perhaps he found it on Mercari or something. I don't know. It was nowhere on eBay though for $55. I went and looked myself. In fact, the cheapest that I found it was like 75, $85 maybe, and it was like out of box or super damaged box, but most of them were like loose. I didn't see any in this condition at all for like less than like $100 something. I also went and checked comps, and this was a good price he got. Like all of the other comps were like at least $100. So I messaged him back and I was just like, I'm sorry about that. I didn't say anything. Like I didn't tell him I didn't see it for $55 because I wasn't even going to try to fight him on it. Also, I say he because the username was a male name. He spoke very like broken English. So I wasn't going to get into it with him. I just told him, I'm sorry, this item has already been pulled off of all of our other selling platforms, and it is already packaged up and ready to go. Um, and he said, oh, okay, like I understand I'm responsible for the sale. And he was like, I just don't have much money, and so I was really hoping to save money on it. And I just hope it gets here fast then. Or something like that. I hope it gets to the post office fast or something. And I said, yes, sir. I said, well, it's scheduled to get picked up tomorrow, from USPS, so it should be to you within a few days. And he was like, well, I hope it gets to the courier fast then. And I just and then like I had to translate that part through Google Translate because it was all written in Spanish. And I was like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand that last part, but I it is scheduled to get picked up tomorrow. And I didn't hear anything back from him. And then it got delivered, I think like a couple days ago, and he hasn't, there's no feedback that was left or anything. So I'm hoping that like no negative feedback comes from this. But if so, like, I mean, I really don't know why you would leave negative feedback. I don't know. So anyway, so we got 16.33 taken off in fees, which is like a lot, right? $9 shipping, he paid that, and then 222 for the promoted listing. So after all that, after that $20 taken out, was $75. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm glad to have one more Barbie gone. So now in total on eBay, we profited. It doesn't seem like much with that big of a sale. Anyway, we profited $91.04, which means our total profit for the third week of March was $212.54, which was really close to the first week. So I'm happy about that. Combined with the total profit of the first 2 weeks of March, so for all 3 weeks so far, we've profited $598.77. Very excited. I'm going to try kicking some butt with getting things listed, so that this last week and a half of March will hopefully lead to some more good sales. I did run a waterfall sale yesterday on Poshmark, and for like the second time in a row of me running a waterfall sale, it has not produced anything. So I'm thinking I'm not going to really waste my time doing those anymore, at least not until maybe this summer when we get summer slowdown, because it just doesn't seem like it's producing anything, and it can be kind of a little bit of work. So I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm just going to try to get a lot of things listed and hope that that helps. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.